Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Tamar,
And I'm Will.
and we just finished watching another episode of Married at First Sight.
Yep, and we're ready to go right into it.
Yeah, and we don't know the episode number, but you'll see that in the title.
Yes.
So
let's get it going. Who are we gonna start off with today?
So we are going to start off with, I say start off with Eric and Virginia.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot going on there. So, how you want to start this off?
You can go. People say I talk too much.
So Eric and Virginia. To me, it seems like is one of the things they're fighting about is the dog. The dog is a big thing, right now. But there's the bar conversation. There's Eric. I believe Eric, because of his military background, I feel like it plays a huge role in how he sort of deals with everything. But I don't think, like, for some reason, I don't feel like he's coming off too strong. What do you think?
Okay, so let's start off. The first argument they had was the bar situation, the bar scenario. We couldn't really catch what was going on, but from what we gathered, they were at a bar and she disappeared anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes. And Eric was just trying to explain to Virginia, when you're married, you can't just disappear at a bar and think that's okay. And then she was like, well, you could have called me. But in other episodes, when he did that, she said he was controlling.
Yeah, I don't like when you go out with someone, and the thing is, like, she disappeared, right?
Yeah.
And she also argued you didn't reach out, you didn't text, you didn't do anything, and I felt like at that
but
moment.
She's been complaining that he does all that.
Yeah, so it's like.
So that was one argument, and then one thing in my notes that I wrote was that Eric mentioned that her dog gets in the way, and I 100% agree with that. But then hearing the background story of why, I get her side too. Basically, Virginia's dog is a little. I'm Haitian, so we use a word called desod. Like he's a little troublemaker.
I would say bad.
But it's not just about, I don't think when Eric said he gets in the middle of their marriage was about his behavior. But if you remember in the last episode, so this episode is coming off the day after their month anniversary. In the last episode, Virginia said she did not want to move to his condo because of her dog. Basically, he has a staircase and her dog having to go up and down the stairs. So like, even something as simple as in moving into the same space with your husband, it's like you're using your dog as an excuse, and something tells me that she probably uses him a lot as an excuse.
I felt like here she has like an attachment issue to everything that was hers. And
she does. She did mention in this episode.
Yep.
That she got her dog when she was depressed. So her dog is basically like her emotional support animal.
But I think it's like you said, it's an excuse to.
It is an excuse, but I believe it's like her safety blanket, and she kind of lets her dog do whatever because of the comfort that he brings to her. Which we understand. We have a dog. We understand that dogs can give you that kind of comfort, but I believe she's using her dog as a crutch.
And I can understand, like, when we first got married, one of the things I used to say was my car, and then I had to realize I had to start saying it's our car, So I can see where she's coming from with that. But at the same time, like, I feel like he wants to build like chemistry and build like trust between them and be able to train the dog together. Even though his little military background is getting in the way, I don't feel it's as deep as, but he does have that way about him and everything he
Well,
do.
I was gonna say he does. I was going to say that her. So my stepfather's a pilot, and one of my close friends is a Marine vet. So I understand his personality.
Mm-hmm.
Very very well. Pilots have a way about themselves. Doctors too, and I have on my mom's side alone, I have 5 doctors in the family. On my mom's side alone, I have doctors on my dad's side, and pilots and doctors have a certain personality about them where it's like what they say goes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and that's it. And it's very, they're very not mechanical, but they're very like methodical,
Almost bossy in a way.
very bossy.
And she did say he's controlling.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of don't get it, but at the same time, I can see where she may be trying to come from.
I don't think that he's controlling. Of course, if you tell the producers, "Oh yeah, he's controlling," they're producers. They're going to want to find ways to edit stuff to make it look like that. Just looking at the things she was saying in this episode, and even 2 episodes ago, Eric mentioned that one of his fears was that Virginia has mentioned in the past she normally runs away.
Yeah.
She is a like
That's
so.
A good point.
She never stays in relationship long. She always is looking for a way out. And she explained her childhood and how traumatic it was, and the only healthy relationship she has seen is her sister's relationship with her partner, her wife. Her and her sister's wife. That's the only like healthy example of relationships she's seen in her entire life. So I think she gets scared, and she has these commitment issues. And she mentioned that she had mental health issues, and I said that.
And
almost every review I've said that. All like I see it in Virginia.
She has high
anxiety. And we're gonna get to that, later.
Yeah, but like I think a small pet peeve of mine is her crying about everything. I just feel like it kind of like it takes away from the point of where he's trying to go, and it seems like it's hard to hold her accountable.
I think with her it's a manipulative tactic. Yeah, and so I think they are still, in my eyes, they're gonna say yes on decision day, but I believe she needs therapy. And all the problems that are surfacing in their relationship are from baggage that she had going into the marriage. And with Eric, like one thing I didn't make a note of is she said that he just like when she's upset he just wants to love on her.
Yeah.
Or he said something. Did I write that down? And I think she's not used to that. She's not used to.
Yeah, that.
She's used to like if something's wrong with her or if she has an issue, everybody goes in their corner, and not somebody's like on top. Exactly. And like for me, even though I didn't grow up in a sense where like my mom was very loving, my dad was very loving, but as an adult, I'm like complete opposite where. I'm not cold, but I like my own space. And I don't like people on top of me. Like and so sometimes when when you have anxiety, I can speak from a place of having anxiety, like Virginia. So when you have anxiety, like one thing that you don't want is somebody on top of you, because your mind is already racing. You already have like it feels like this. Sometimes
it can get really bad. I can literally be saying the cutest thing to her or asking the simplest question, and she really will feel like I'm clocking her, I'm on top of her. I'm like, hey,
because I feel like I'm on
going?
top of my.
Why you want to know where I'm going? I'm like, I
Because
just
you kind of feel like you already feel like the best way to explain how you feel is like you feel like this, right? You kind of feel like your whole body, your mind, everything is like this, and then you have somebody like this. So like it's like you're doing this, and then the person's like this. So it's just like it's too much, and then you explode. Whether you cry, whether you curse out somebody, whether you throw something. So I can understand that because you already feel like it's too much, you know. So I can relate to her on that sense, and I kind of know where she's coming from as someone who also suffers with anxiety.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Ryan and Clara or Brianna and Vincent? Kind of want to save Jacob and Haley.
Okay. We can go to Clara and Ryan. The first thing I wrote down was I was shocked that he had a BLM shirt. Like, I was shocked. Not saying, of course, you know, Ryan's black, but this whole time in this show, I've been like, is he proud of who he is? Not because he is attracted to white women or anything like that. It's just that as a black man, he had no, a black man in Atlanta. Just like I was saying, Clara is in Atlanta and she loves black men, but where are her black friends? It's just, to me, I find that odd, you know. So I thought he was just more on the I thought he was more on the conservative side, especially since he said, you know, he whatchamacallit, he could relate to and connected with Eric. So I was very shocked that Ryan was wearing a BLM shirt on camera. So so I wasn't shocked. I was surprised. I was like, oh, that's cool. And that showed layers to him. There's layers of Ryan that he hasn't expressed on the show. I don't know if he's afraid or whatever, but that showed another layer of him that we didn't know about.
Yep, I think I'm gonna move on.
Yeah.
So what the thing about these two? Well, it seems.
Do you want to talk about the yoga?
I mean, I think that kind of covers the whole thing. I'm just gonna talk about like the sex problem. You know, that's not happening. And she, you know, she probably figured doing the yoga was gonna unlock some things, and he said he said in the end, like, things like going out with friends and doing stuff that don't really, you know, that's not the thing that connects them. What connects them is like doing something simple, like something in the house together, you know, like dishes together, you know, doing things like that. And he's looking still to take it one step at a time, but her issue is everything sex, and it just seems annoyed when, you know, it's not being talked about or brought up. And in certain situations, I can understand where she's coming from, as far as intimacy, because what I did you hear that at the end? Like, did that just, like, did they sneak that in?
Yeah,
did they try to,
like that hidden camera when the girls were meeting.
Like, did they try to sneak that in? Like, he gets off, but she gets nothing. Yeah, I was like, yo, that's foul.
But okay, so how I feel about that situation is, well, I wrote Ryan is purposely holding out on sex. He sees Clara wants sex and wants to, but he wants to have a deep connection with her. But Clara's not the connecting type. Like I said in the last review, Clara, not all the stuff are connecting with her. She's not a conscious person. She literally, I don't want to say she couldn't even connect when he was talking about like life goals and stuff like that. She's not a deep thinker. She's just, something is off, and we'll talk about when the girls met.
Yeah.
But she needed therapy before getting married. There's certain stuff that's suppressed within her, from when she was in Bible school, from how she grew up, that is manifesting in her not having emotional connections to sex.
Yep.
And so there is definitely a psychological issue with her with being able to emotionally connect.
Yep, I agree. So should we move on from them?
Yes, let's move on.
Okay. Don't worry. we have some stuff on Paige and Chris. I know that's what we all tune into every
I
day for.
At this point, I feel like everybody is tired of Paige and Chris. Like,
let's. I would like to for once end it with Paige and Chris.
okay,
Brianna and Vincent has, the love story.
they're the couple of the night.
I think so. I mean, I do like. I always like couples that can bring it back together. Sometimes it's good to see love, but also you want to see. For me, I'm not sure if there's other people who watch this like me, but I like to see people like how they communicate when things go the opposite way or don't go the way they want to see it. And so far, from what we can see, it's only been like two small instances where Brianna and Vincent got into something.
It was small that I feel like producers made it look bigger.
Yeah,
than
I want to see those two really work through something. Not saying I want to see them fight, but for me, couple of the night for me is Eric, who is it? Who is it again? Eric and Virginia.
How?
Because at the end of the day, they were able to come together and have that communication and work stuff out and then say I love you. Because if you can figure out what's if you can work through problems in the beginning, to me, like in the end, in the long run.
But not every relationship has to have toxicity to it.
No, that's true.
Like I've been watching this show for seasons, and there's always a couple every couple of seasons that's like Brianna and a Vincent. You had Amani and Woody. You had whatchamacallit, Keith and Christine. There are couples that just click with each other, and there are people that don't need toxicity. Brianna in the Girls talked about how she went to therapy. There are people who are healed and whole themselves when they come together, where there's not going to be drama, and that's okay. And the little drama that we did see of Vincent, like I said, I feel like for good TV, especially with all that was going on with Paige and Chris, they needed, the other couples needed something for you to be interested in.
They say sometimes when you meet someone, you meet their representative, and I think all I'm trying to say is I want to see the real Vincent and Brianna. I feel like it could be like last year. Who's the favorite couple?
Amani and Woody. Then you had Amelia and Bennett's another one.
Yeah, so I could be wrong, but what I'm trying to say is I feel like there's something there that remember what Vincent's family said. When he gets mad,
they said that about Woody.
He really gets mad. That's true. And Woody said that about Woody. So far, Woody has been good. But what I'm trying to say is, sometimes when stuff is presented in the beginning, what you're like. You know how to talk things out. It's not like later on you're saying to yourself, "Oh, you wasn't like this in the beginning," because you're meeting that whole person right then and there. But the love story, I know she likes to fit in love and all the love people, and I have no problem with that.
And he likes ratchet fighting.
That's not true.
Drama.
That's not true. But anyway, let's get on to.
He's laughing, but it's true.
Let's get on.
Okay,
the bike ride and
the bike ride. I think they're fine. I think they are being authentic, and that is why they are successful.
Yeah.
And the little things like the champagne and I feel like that was TV made. I think they truly care about each other.
I'm not denying any of that.
No, I think they are. I think you have to think about this season that this garbage fire of a season, and think about all the other couples. So of course, when you think about like a Paige and a Chris and a whatchamacallit, the steak and egg guy, they're so boring. Haley and Jacob. When you have like crazy situations like that, of course they're gonna be like, oh, there has to be more, but maybe that's all there is.
Yeah.
So
we'll see as the season goes on.
Yep. So let's go to Haley and Jacob.
Okay, you want to start this one?
Okay. So Jacob apologized. I don't think he should have apologized for what he said to her, and the reason why I don't think he should. I mean, you should always apologize to your spouse, but I actually no, because I feel like sometimes when you apologize, especially when you were hurt, you're excusing that person's behavior. Jacob was upset because since the beginning, since their wedding day, Haley has been pushing him away. And he was upset at the fact that, like, he had to rewatch everything and see that she pulled away from his kiss. She never had an attraction for him. She didn't have an attraction for him. And like Chris, who slept with Paige without an attraction, she slept with him. And then after she slept with him, she played him. She played him in Vegas. So I think that he was a bigger person by apologizing, but at the same time, I don't, for certain situations, I don't think there's, because then that's gonna give Haley the right to still be standoffish, to still not check herself when she is standoffish.
Mm-hmm. I kind of disagree with your analogy about, it's like, I don't know how many men feel like it's always so hard to get an apology out of, their wives, spouses, girlfriends, so I think with that philosophy, my thing is like whether right or wrong is good to apologize. And that's why most of the time when we go through something,
But when you apologize, what
I like to make amends.
my thing is, like, what are you apologizing for?
I mean, you're like sometimes, it can be any little thing. Sorry that the conversation went this far, but you're trying to make amends, and sometimes the person is holding it and being stubborn, and they're not talking to the person, and it doesn't
which
go
I
anywhere.
agree. You can make light of the situation, but Jacob honestly was truly hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So I like how they were looking to reset.
Yeah.
So
I did like that.
They reset it. And Haley, she told him she likes to have fun, and you can tell like her energy was like at 100, and Jacob's energy like throughout the whole thing reminded me of Henry from last season.
Yeah.
Like it's just like. Oh, even the little music subtitles at the bottom says quirky music. You know what I mean? It's like not trying to play anybody that's quirky, but still, it's just like he's like, yeah,
yeah. So okay, so okay, I said Haley was dramatic, saying that they haven't had fun.
Mm-hmm.
I said at the honeymoon, before she played him, before she lied to him and said she was meeting up with the girls, they had fun. Remember when they went out to dinner and she was wearing the color of the glow in the dark, or the like the light up glasses? So she can't say they haven't had fun. She can't say that. I felt like that was really dramatic with that. But what I did notice with them was Haley said she got married because she wanted to have fun, and Jacob said he wanted to have fun with his wife, and I think that's why the experts put them together, because they're all about enjoying life. Haley is into traveling, and Jacob's into dressing crazy. So they like to have a good time and just have fun. But yeah, Jacob definitely he was just I think there's certain stuff that he never got tested for as a child, that's like presenting itself, to be honest. Because yeah, he I don't know if you noticed, but he was dressed like a NASCAR racer. Like he had the spike. Yeah. He never has his hair spiked up. He spiked up his hair. He put on sunglasses, and Haley was talking about like how like he does stuff as a kid or as a joke. So yeah, so I don't know if anyone peeped that, but yeah, his personality, like she was actually like and he was like, yeah. So I don't know if he was trying to act like a cool race car driver or.
Yeah, I just his energy. I wish he would pick it up, because I feel like at this point, Haley is trying, but I feel like she's gonna be like pushed away because, she, it's like it's like you reset it, you tried so many things, and it's like she just can't put her finger on what it is, but she knows something is missing. You know what I mean?
A marble.
Well, we don't know, but
Yeah, and it is.
Definitely Henry from last season.
Yeah. All right. So this episode felt like forever. They had three different okay, segments. They had the dog part. I thought the dog part was funny because this is the first season of Married at First Sight ever where every single wife had a dog, and they showed how you know a dog will take on its owner's personality. So they showed how each husband was towards the dog, and you saw that like for example Vincent with Cookie, playing around, so just like how he is with Brianna. Then you saw Ryan was very methodical. He wanted to take a class on how to raise. I've never heard of anybody just how to be a dog owner. I didn't even know they had those classes. I like he was very methodical, and he and then so everybody's how they had like the same relationship they had with their wives, they had with their dogs, and then you had Chris. Oh, we didn't even talk about Paige and Chris.
Oh no, that's gonna come up.
All right, so after this, we'll talk about Paige and Chris and how they all met up. So they asked Chris, what about Bentley, Paige's dog, and he was like F Bentley, and we're like, well, that's how he is with Paige.
Yep,
I was cracking up though.
Yeah. It was crazy that whole scene right there. It was nice and quick too.
Yeah, it was. It was cute. So yeah, we forgot about Paige and Chris. That's not over.
I didn't forget about Paige and Chris.
Okay, so
all right. First scene. First it was Paige, and her brother was over. She basically explained to him, Chris asked for a divorce, and as we can see, she was just telling him like what happened. I felt, the brother was a good listener. If I was the brother, I probably would have been a little bit more upset that my sister's being treated like this, and probably called a meeting and but what do you think?
So I was going to say that finally we see Paige's family. We haven't seen them since the wedding, especially with all this going on. We've seen more of Chris's side than we've seen of Paige. We haven't even seen Paige talk on the phone with a friend, which and Paige said she constantly was being toyed with when she was talking to her brother, and my thing is, he made it clear from the beginning, like literally a week into their marriage, when supposedly his ex-fiance got pregnant. He made it clear that he wanted a divorce, and Paige kept calling him. Paige kept turning around. He told Paige, I am not attracted to you, the day after they got married. He has actively tried to run out from their relationship. That time when they were at dinner, Paige walked away, and the producers told Paige to turn back around to tell him that she's not going to be calling him or whatever. She decided to sit down, talk to Chris, and say, let's start all over again. Hi, I'm Paige. So it's not. So Chris made it clear. Paige kept forcing herself to try to make it work.
Yeah, but I think well, I have said many times, like, I can understand why she's trying to make it work, but she actually explained it herself today. She felt so much in love with the process, what just the thought of
being
married than actually, But
wait, I wanted to make one more thing. And then my thing is, like, this whole time I didn't know Paige had a brother. What's the point of having a brother if this whole thing was going on with Chris and she didn't call up her brother? Her brother didn't try to fight Chris. Her brother didn't try to curse out.
Type of person.
I don't care. Like, I don't like. What's the point of having a brother?
He's probably not built for that. Brothers are not every brother is built to fight.
But if I'm your brother and you're my sister, I don't care. Even if I was your sister, and like me and Solange, I'm a Cancer too, like Solange. If I would be exactly like Solange in the
And,
elevator and beat up Jay-Z.
and you know what?
And so I don't care if my sibling was going through that. I would have words and some fists.
No, words is good. Like I agree. The brother could have put him in his place, professionally, intellectually. Like, listen, you're not gonna treat my sister like this. This, that, and the third. And if I hear this, that, and the third again, you know, if he's not a fighter, he's not gonna fight him. So he's gonna have to come up with some words for that. But anyway, let's move on to.
Chris met up with his mom.
Yeah.
And he said, and when his mom asked about Paige, he was with a smirk. He was like, "Oh, I don't know." And made sure to bring up again. Paige doesn't call outside the camera. He's trying to make Paige look bad. Yeah. And his mom actually defended Paige in that instance.
Yeah, I didn't like how he tried to be slick and throw her under the bus. And I'm glad the mother, she didn't know what was going on, but she basically told him, I can understand, like, you have a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you can tell from his mother facial expressions that she didn't like any of the stuff that was being said out of his mouth.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody likes anything that's come out of Chris's mouth. But like I said last week, his mom still defended him and Mercedes' ex on Facebook. And I forgot to mention this, and I'll put this on at the end. But speaking of Haley and Jacob, Chris last week in his crazy self went on a whole tirade about Jacob and his boots, and so that's gonna be the next scene I talk about with Brianna, Vincent, Jacob, and Haley at the double date, because it segues into that. So Chris, I was cracking up because they showed Jacob's boots, the same boots that Chris was making fun of online, calling them. Chris is just a disgusting cockroach of the stuff that he's still running his mouth on social media about his castmates, about just everything, his old pastor. It's just crazy. And I'll put that at the end of our reviews if you want to read that, because that's not relevant to what we're saying or this episode, but I just was cracking up at the boots that Chris was talking about. Jacob was wearing those boots.
So, did you want to move on to the group scenes, or?
I was going to talk about their dates since I was on Jacob and Haley, and then we can move on to the girls and then the guys, and then
Go ahead.
Okay, so Haley painted out how Jacob doesn't care about what she does. It's all about him, and I agree with that. So she was telling Brianna this because it's since episode 1, it's like all Jacob talks about is himself, his house, his beach that his dogs play in his backyard. And I really think that Jacob has not all his screws intact. There are probably certain things that he has, some developmental things that he's lacking, that I see just after watching all these episodes.
Well, I've been trying to tell you that from the beginning. I've been Team Haley from
I'm not on either of their sides.
Well, I could
if he was with an Amelia, they should have put Jacob with an Amelia type.
But anyway, I'm gonna flip over to the guys scene, but still staying on Jacob.
Okay, I was gonna talk about the girls, but okay.
No.
Let's talk about the.
Go ahead.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So so the girls scene, it was Paige, Brianna, and Virginia this time. And Virginia is uncomfortable with comforting people, which I mentioned before. And Virginia was saying that Eric doesn't understand her mental issues. I don't think she's told Eric that she has real mental issues. You know what I mean? Like a legit mental issue. I don't know if she's honestly expressed that. Watching her, I see it, and I like I said earlier, like I said on earlier reviews, watching these girls, this show, these people need to be in individualized therapy before the wedding. And Brianna expressed that she went to therapy before she got married. And you can see that because Brianna is the only woman in this entire season, to me, that's self-realized, fully into the process, fully commands and knows exactly what she wants, and has, to me, the happiest marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about the group stuff.
Okay, and I think I had that's it
just,
for the girls.
Just and then
the guys.
Clara going off.
Oh,
on a rant.
But that was like not that was when they were at somebody's apartment. Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about the guys real quick when you were talking about Haley, because another example to show that Jacob is about himself is, you know, while she's cleaning up, he's watching her. First of all, he has like so many pills and stuff and supplements he takes.
I know. Oh wait, babe, before you go into that, I forgot. I recorded this. I gotta put this. I'm gonna insert this right now because when the girls met up, Paige said, "Oh, you know, I finally left Chris."
Oh yeah.
And I love every week Brianna's facial
expressions.
She'll be like, "Oh." But her facial expressions will say it all. Like she does not have a poker face. So I'm gonna insert that right now.
Okay, like Paige, you could have walked away a little sooner.
Yep.
Okay, and now you could go.
No, Jacob, you know, like we were saying, him being about himself. You know, he has so many supplements. And, you know, him just watching Haley put it away, and then he goes and takes everything out the cabinet. Like, you watch her put it all in there, and then you're going to take it out, and didn't even tell her and go put it somewhere else. You know, but I understood that because, like, my one, a little 2 pills, I'll leave on a table, and you'll take it and put it away. Like, you don't like when I leave it out like that.
Yes,
but
because they're not pieces of decor.
Anything else from the groups?
That's it.
Well, if you thought we was done, we are not. We have a sneak peek for you guys about Paige and Chris.
Bum, bum, bum.
Here we go.
You embodied everything that I ever wanted in a wife.
I do care about Chris. I do. Because I do see a lot of admirable qualities in Chris. I've never been with a man that is so open and honest about how he feels. Ever. Would you like to stay married?
I think that we're undecided.
No, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm being very honest with you.
I can't give you a decision, and she can't give you a decision either.
But you are married, so that is the decision.
But this is our marriage, and we're undecided right now. So I'm undecided, and I'm gonna speak for Paige.
Paige and Chris. Fast forward into a few weeks from now,
I think it's next week.
Next week, right? They're both sitting down with the
You know, at this point, these two are Bo and Zoe.
Yep. So we don't know what happened between now and then, but from what we can see, what we saw from the sneak peek, is that they're not gonna separate from each other, right? What was the correct answer?
Bo and Zoe. We'll talk about this next week. This next week is gonna be interesting because I cannot. All right, so until next time.
Yes, guys. I'm Will.
And I'm Tamar.
You guys have a great day.
Bye.